Buttes and viewers, my name is Kiss and welcome back to KTB Network, y'all the Buttes. Today we are reacting to thanks to Nintendo, PlayStation is now considering raising game prices, of course, after Switch 2 announcement. Alright, let's get to it. Dr. Disaster. Alright, what's he gotta say?
What's up, space pirates? This is your
There
admiral,
is this
the
feedback
deliciously dank
coming from his
Dr.
channel.
Disaster.
I hope he can do something
one of the
about
most
that.
irritating things about Nintendo raising their prices on games, including a more expensive price for physical copies of games, is that we all knew this would lead to other companies following suit because Nintendo is emblematic of what these game studios fundamentally believe, that they can lure us into buying their products no matter what.
Don't you want it?
No. That is the problem with these empty suit corporate shitbags in
That was my favorite movie for a while. The first It.
a nutshell. They don't appreciate gaming
As a kid too, I was really fucked in the head as a kid.
as a hobby.
Excuse me.
They view it
I
as a
loved horror
vehicle to have
movies.
more money delivered to them. They don't actually care whether something is fun or high quality because they aren't going to play it themselves. They only care about one thing.
Where's my money?
Oh, that's
People like
nasty.
Sony and these other game
Not that
studios
messed up.
will use any excuse they can find to raise their prices, which is why so many people are pissed at Nintendo for offering Mario Kart at $80, starting this chain of falling dominoes, especially considering that $70 just became the new normal this past generation of PlayStation and
Yes, and Steam with it be plus tax $76.90, I think. Come on
Xbox
now.
consoles. But Sony is now reportedly issuing a survey to their gamers. They want to know how many PlayStation users are planning to buy a Switch 2. They want to know how many people
better
are
say
turned
no.
off by the higher prices versus how many are willing to shrug their shoulders and just pay up. And it doesn't exactly take a genius to understand.
I guess they're being smart about this survey because they're in their own ecosphere, so it's smart of them to create a poll to see how the people out on the outside feel about their surge in prices, and you know it's good. It's a good method, you know,
Understand why
especially when
they
you're
would
in an
ask
echo chamber.
such questions.
We've got to have money.
Okay.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. I've written a dark fantasy novel that will be available soon on Amazon, and audiobook of the beginning of this book will be available to channel members first very soon. I'm just ironing out the last few kinks in the novel and will be ready to rock. But if you want to support alternatives to mainstream culture, consider becoming a channel member. In any case, let's talk about what Sony is doing and how we can see the dominoes start to fall with regards to the pricing of new games. This is something that a lot of us have seen coming for a long while. There's been a lot of speculation that Rockstar is going to up the price of GTA 6 to $100 or more. In fact, a lot of people expect this is why they are waiting so long to give firm details on the release date and other game details for GTA. They want to wait until the last minute to tell us about GTA 6 in order to eliminate the discussion the people would have about whether or not $100 is worth it for a game. If they release details a month or two away from the game's launch and then stick their hand out and start asking for money for pre-orders, FOMO will override the better judgment of a lot of people and they'll just pay up and that'll be it. It's just bad luck or plain stupidity that Nintendo became the face of this movement to raise prices in the industry, but either way, let's read about what Sony is doing now. This article comes to us from That Park Place. It says, the Nintendo Switch 2 has dominated the headlines over the past several days. However, it seems that their competitors over at PlayStation have a not-so-secret interest in the new system as well. So much so that Sony has released a survey to PlayStation fans asking their impressions on the console, services, and whether they will be buying a Nintendo Switch 2.
Y'all
And
better-
then here's
y'all-
an image of
y'all
that
better
survey.
say no.
Let's look at what they're asking. The first question says, as you may already know, Nintendo announced that the Switch 2, the successor
Y'all
to
have
the
better
Switch,
said.
is releasing on June 5th for $450. And it's no accident that they lead off the survey
I
with
mean,
a
personally, I
question
don't
where
care.
they
I mean, I know the emulation is somehow going to come out, or the prices will just get lower within 2 years. So I don't mind waiting. I really don't. There's enough games out there. We have emulators on our phones. It's legal if it's on the Apple Store. So
specifically mention a price.
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
It isn't the price of the games, granted, but they're putting pricing in the foreground of people's thoughts as they ask these questions. And then they ask, how interested are you in purchasing the Switch 2? And then the next question below that says, what aspects of the console are you most interested in? And they follow that up with what is essentially a rewording of the previous question. Below is a list of potential reasons to buy the Switch 2. Please select the top 3 motivating factors. And one thing I'll throw out there, Sony is probably interested in seeing how many of their customers want a handheld component, how many of their customers like the handheld component of the Switch 2, but then here is where they're really taking the temperature in the room on the Switch 2 controversy. They know that Nintendo has gotten a lot of flack as the debates have raged on about pricing. The next question asks, when thinking about the Nintendo Direct Switch 2 announcements, in what way has your opinion changed about the following? And then it lists Nintendo, PlayStation, and the broader gaming market. That right there is the meat and potatoes of the whole survey, along with the first question. They want to know how many people are planning to buy the Switch 2 and what the Switch 2 announcements made people think about when it comes to the gaming industry in general. They want to know if they can get by with $80 games and increase costs on physical games on the PS6, if not sooner than that. And as for me, and I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this, but all this raising of the prices will do is cause me to wait longer before I play certain games. I buy multiple games every month, but I'm the guy who bought Ghost of Tsushima about 2 years after it originally came out, despite all the good things I heard about it, because my backlog is so massive, and by waiting, I got the game for $20 at a used game store. There are games that I buy on day one, of course, but there are a lot of us who have purposely crafted a situation where we are constantly behind the cycle of releases so that when we get to certain games, they're going to be at a drastically reduced price. We don't have FOMO. We aren't being driven by this fear of missing out. We have no problem waiting a year or two before.
What did I just say? I have no problem waiting a year or two for a game. I don't care. I have so many games on my backlog. What's up?
Or we play the next big new thing. And I think a lot more people will behave this way moving forward, which isn't good for Sony, Nintendo, or any of these studios, especially if we're buying physical copies of games and getting them secondhand, because these studios won't see a penny from transactions like that, which is why they're so keen on getting rid of physical copies of games, because then we as consumers lose a crucial piece of our leverage over the market, and studios get to dictate price from a much stronger position. But anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. Drop your thoughts on Sony putting the...
Boom, subscribe to this man. But yeah, basically, he said what I said. Like, I'm in tune with it, which is great. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know what other gaming videos you want me to react to. Like and subscribe if you vibe. Become a beaut today. And also check me out in live streams. I'll be there pretty soon. Okay, bye guys.